This is Abigail Spanberger, the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Spanberger was chosen to give the Democrat response to President Trump's State of the Union. However, her speech didn't start until after 11 p.m. Eastern, which means the only people actually watching were insomniacs and the poor interns at the DNC who were forced to live tweet it.
Tonight, as we watched our nation's lawmakers gather for a joint session of Congress, we did not hear the truth from our president.
Of course, she wrote her speech before Trump gave his State of the Union address, which is a neat trick. It's like writing a negative movie review before you've seen the film just because you hate the director. I haven't seen it, I gave it 0 stars.
Is the president working to make life more affordable for you and your family? Is the president working to keep Americans safe both at home and abroad? Is the president working for you?
Well, let's check the scoreboard. Inflation is cooling off, the border is secure, and he hasn't tried to ban my gas stove, so yeah, I'd say he's doing all right. But please, Abigail, tell us how the sky is falling.
Since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs.
Ah, the sudden, deep concern for Americans' wallets. Oddly, I don't remember this laser focus on household budgets when inflation under the last administration was costing the average American family over $1,000 more a month, but sure, let's pretend that the tariffs are the real villain here. Furthermore, she's getting this figure from the Democrat side of the Congressional Joint Economic Committee. They claim that tariffs have cost American families over $1,700 between February 2025 to January 2026. However, there's no breakdown on which products or categories cost more because of the tariffs. But you know, I'm sure that you could trust the Democrats. They would never lie to you for political gain.
Rural health clinics in Virginia and across the country are already closing their doors thanks to the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, championed by the president and Republicans in Congress.
However, rural health clinics have been struggling and consolidating for over a decade. So they're not already closing because Trump. Blaming a bill that was just passed for a systemic healthcare issue that's been happening since the Obama years is certainly a choice.
Democrats across the country are laser focused on affordability in our nation's capital and in state capitals and communities across America.
Where was that laser focus from 2021 to 2024? All right, they were too busy redefining the word recession and telling us that inflation was transitory.
Our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans.
People who aspire to be Americans? Is that supposed to be the new Democrat rebrand for illegal aliens?
They have ripped nursing mothers away from their babies.
I'm sorry, what?
They have sent children, a little boy in a blue bunny hat, children to far-off detention centers.
No, not the little boy in the blue bunny hat whose father abandoned him in the street to escape from being arrested by ICE. Look, that little boy was only detained after the father told officers that he wanted him to stay with him instead of handing him off to his mother for some reason. So whose fault is that, Abigail?
But as the president spoke of his perceived successes tonight, he continues to cede economic power and technological strength to Russia, bow down to China, bow down to a Russian dictator, and make plans for war with Iran.
Hold on, so Trump's a weak isolationist pushover bowing down to dictators, but he's also an aggressive imperialist warmonger planning to invade Iran. He can't be Neville Chamberlain and Genghis Khan at the same time. Pick a lane and stay in it, Abigail.
Our president has endangered the long and storied history of the United States of America being a force for good. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor.
He tries to divide us, says the shining star of the Democrat Party, that spent the last several years calling half the country garbage, fascists, and threats to democracy. Pot meet kettle, kettle meet a mirror.
Over the last year, through Doge, mass firings, and the appointment of deeply unserious people to our nation's most serious positions.
Oh, you mean like Admiral Rachel Levine? Oh wait, wrong administration.
We know better than any nation what is possible when ordinary citizens reject the unacceptable and demand more of their government. We see it in the determination of students organizing school walkouts all across the country, whose voices are becoming so powerful that the governor of Texas seeks to silence them.
Silence them? By expecting them to go to class? I know that this is a radical concept for modern Democrats, but usually when you send a kid to school, the goal is education, not activism. I mean, they can't even spell what they're supposedly protesting against. But yes, the incredible bravery of high school students finding a politically convenient excuse to skip third grade algebra. Truly the civil rights struggle of our time.
We see it in the bravery of Americans in Minnesota standing up for their communities, from peacefully protesting in sub-zero temperatures to carpooling children to school, so that their immigrant parents are not ripped away from them in the parking lot.
Ah, yes, the classic Democrat tactic of conflating immigrants with illegal aliens. And they have the nerve to claim that Trump doesn't tell the truth.
As a mother of 3 school-aged daughters, I am inspired by their bravery, but I am sickened that it is necessary.
What do your daughters have anything to do with this? Are they illegal immigrants? I'm so confused.
In November, I won my election by 15 points because voters decided they wanted something different.
Yeah, you won by 15 points because you ran against one of the weakest gubernatorial candidates in Virginia history. Not the accomplishment you think it is.
We are working to lower costs. We are working to keep our communities and our country safe, and we are working for you.
Sure you are. Just like when you were working to lower costs during 4 years of Bidenomics, right? In the meantime, Governor Spanberger is ignoring the fact that under President Trump, gas prices are down, mortgage rates are down, wage growth is outpacing inflation, and we finally have an administration more interested in fixing the economy than policing our kitchen appliances and gas-powered vehicles.
So I'll ask again, is the president working to keep Americans safe, both at home and abroad?
2 things. First, it's the Democrats that literally just forced a shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security last week. You know, the department that protects the US from numerous threats. And they shut it down all because they're mad that ICE was actually enforcing the law. And second,
one of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
And this should have been a no-brainer, but instead, every single Democrat in the room refused to stand. Every single one. I know you're shocked.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself.
And you thought the Democrats not standing for a 13-year-old cancer survivor was bad. Trump calling out Democrats was the most important part of Trump's State of the Union address. He made them show their true colors, and it will now be used against them every single day between now and November 3rd. With that said, do you think that Abigail Spanberger and the Democrats are more concerned with keeping Americans safe than President Trump and the Republicans? Well, this imagery alone proves otherwise. Good luck in the midterms, Democrats. Anyway, that's it for now. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Head over to my super cool merch store at don'twalkrun.shop. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time, if there is next time.